Hello friends, Lieutenant Sam here, and this is your Sunday Sermon Preview for Sunday, August 16th, 2015. We're continuing on this week in our sermon series covering the 12 disciples. This week, we're looking at James. Now, you might know this James as James the Greater, or perhaps James the son of Zebedee, or James the brother of John, or even James, one of the sons of thunder. You see, James had a lot of different titles and different names he was called to distinguish himself from the other James. However, despite the fact that he had all these different titles, he doesn't actually appear that many times in the Bible. As a matter of fact, with only one exception, he always appears with his brother John. So James and John said this, or James and John did that. It was very odd. You see, James was one of Jesus' intimate circle, one of the three disciples that were closest to Jesus, Peter, James, and John. And yet, James is easily the least talked about of the three. But as we look at James' life, as we look at the few times we do see him, as we think about these different titles attributed to James, we discover that James is very much so like us. He's very relatable. You see, James was an ordinary man before Jesus met him, and an extraordinary man afterwards. Through the example of James' life, we see how we can be just like James, and yet, despite all our failings and all the things that we think are wrong about us, Jesus can use them to do wonderful things. So this week, we're looking in Romans chapter 12, verses 9 through 21. There are instructions from Paul about how we are to live our lives as Christians. And through the example of James, we see how we can apply them to our own lives so that we can grow and be successful in the walk God has placed in our lives. So I look forward to seeing you this Sunday at 10:45 a.m. as we explore Romans chapter 12, verses 9 through 21, and see how through the example of James the disciple, we can live these practices in our own lives. God bless.